Number 1. The Green Sahara Civilization. Deep beneath the endless dunes of the Sahara Desert lies a secret that challenges everything we thought we knew about human civilization. What appears today as barren wasteland was once a thriving paradise, home to advanced cultures that vanished so completely that history forgot they ever existed. The discovery began with satellite technology that can peer through sand and rock to reveal what lies beneath. These orbital eyes detected something extraordinary hidden under millions of tons of desert sand. Massive river networks, ancient lake beds, and geometric stone structures emerged from the data, painting a picture of a landscape that defied imagination. The Sahara, now the world's largest hot desert, was once a lush, fertile region teeming with life and human activity. Rock art scattered across the desert tells an incredible story. Paintings dating back over 9,000 years show scenes that seem impossible in today's Sahara. Boats navigate vast waterways where now only sand exists. Cattle graze in verdant pastures where nothing grows today. Hunters employ sophisticated tactics to track animals that disappeared from this region millennia ago. These aren't primitive cave drawings, but detailed artistic records of a civilization that understood their environment intimately. The evidence suggests this Green Sahara civilization possessed knowledge and capabilities that mainstream archaeology struggles to explain. Their settlements weren't simple villages, but complex urban centers with advanced water management systems, astronomical alignments, and architectural techniques that rival much later civilizations. Stone circles and megalithic structures buried beneath the sand show precision engineering and mathematical understanding that challenges our timeline of human development. What makes this discovery even more mysterious is how completely this civilization vanished. Climate data reveals that the Sahara underwent rapid desertification around 6,000 years ago. Within just a few centuries, a region that had supported millions of people and countless species became uninhabitable wasteland. The transition was so swift that the inhabitants had no time to adapt or leave comprehensive records of their achievements. The survivors of this climatic catastrophe scattered across Africa and beyond, carrying fragments of their knowledge to new lands. Some researchers believe these refugees influenced the development of ancient Egypt, contributing to the sudden appearance of advanced architectural and astronomical knowledge along the Nile. Others suggest they traveled further, spreading their expertise across the Mediterranean and into Europe, seeding civilizations that would later claim credit for innovations actually developed in the Green Sahara. Number 2. The builders of Göbekli Tepe. In the hills of southeastern Turkey stands a monument that shouldn't exist according to conventional history. Göbekli Tepe predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years, the pyramids by 7,000 years, and the entire concept of agriculture by at least 1,000 years. Yet its massive stone pillars, intricate animal carvings, and precise astronomical alignments demonstrate a level of sophistication that challenges our understanding of prehistoric human capabilities. The site consists of enormous circular enclosures built from limestone pillars, weighing up to 50 tons each. These monoliths are covered with detailed carvings of animals, abstract symbols, and human figures that suggest complex mythological or religious beliefs. The craftsmanship rivals anything produced by later civilizations that had access to metal tools and organized labor forces. Yet Göbekli Tepe was created by people who supposedly lived as simple hunter-gatherers without permanent settlements or complex social structures. The most puzzling aspect of Göbekli Tepe isn't just its advanced construction, but what happened to it. Around 8,000 years ago, the entire complex was deliberately buried under tons of soil and rubble. This wasn't natural erosion or gradual abandonment, but a conscious decision by its creators to hide their masterpiece from the world. The burial was so thorough and systematic that it preserved the site perfectly until modern archaeological techniques uncovered it. Why would a civilization invest enormous resources in creating such a magnificent monument only to bury it completely? The answer might lie in what Göbekli Tepe represents about its builders. Recent analysis suggests the site required coordination between multiple groups across a vast region. Quarrying, transporting, and erecting the massive stones would have demanded thousands of workers, sophisticated planning, and social organization that supposedly didn't exist in the Neolithic period. The astronomical alignments at Göbekli Tepe add another layer of mystery. The pillars and enclosures track celestial events with precision that indicates advanced astronomical knowledge. These alignments point to star positions from over 11,000 years ago, suggesting the site's builders possess detailed understanding of cosmic cycles and stellar mechanics. Such knowledge typically develops within literate civilizations with centuries of observation and record-keeping. Yet Göbekli Tepe predates writing by thousands of years. The implications of Göbekli Tepe extend far beyond a single archaeological site. If hunter-gatherer societies could organize massive construction projects, develop complex belief systems, and master astronomical observation, then our entire understanding of human social evolution needs revision. The site suggests that sophisticated civilization emerged much earlier than previously believed, and that we've dramatically underestimated the capabilities of prehistoric societies. Number 3. The Younger Dryas Pre-Flood Civilization. 12,800 years ago, something catastrophic happened to our planet. Within decades, global temperatures plummeted, ice sheets advanced across continents, and sea levels dropped dramatically. This event, known as the Younger Dryas, lasted over 1,000 years and fundamentally altered the course of human civilization. But recent evidence suggests this wasn't just a climate anomaly, but the destruction of an advanced global culture that has been erased from historical memory. Ice core data from Greenland reveals the shocking speed of this climate change. Temperatures dropped by 15 degrees Fahrenheit in less than a decade, transforming the world's climate system almost overnight. Traditional explanations blame changes in ocean circulation, but growing evidence points to something far more dramatic. Microscopic diamonds, magnetic spherules, and other exotic materials found in geological layers from this period suggest a cosmic impact or series of impacts that triggered the catastrophe. Across the globe, flood legends and catastrophe myths share remarkably similar details, despite originating from cultures with no historical contact. The biblical flood, the Mesopotamian Gilgamesh epic, Hindu texts describing world-ending deluges, Native American stories of great waters, and Aboriginal Australian Dreamtime accounts of rising seas all describe the same basic scenario. A global civilization existed before a catastrophic flood that destroyed almost everything, leaving only scattered survivors to rebuild from primitive conditions. Archaeological evidence supports these legends in ways that mainstream science struggles to address. Massive stone structures found underwater off coastlines worldwide appear to predate the Younger Dryas event. Ancient harbors now lie hundreds of feet below current sea levels, positioned where they would have been functional before the climate catastrophe. Megalithic sites across different continents share architectural techniques, astronomical alignments, and symbolic systems that suggest they were created by the same culture or closely related cultures. The precision of astronomical alignments at ancient sites becomes particularly significant when viewed through the lens of a pre-flood civilization. Many megalithic structures align perfectly with star positions from over 12,000 years ago, exactly matching the time frame of the Younger Dryas event. These alignments would have been meaningless to post-catastrophe societies, but represent sophisticated astronomical knowledge preserved in stone by the earlier civilization. The survivors who escaped the Younger Dryas catastrophe carried fragments of their advanced knowledge to scattered refugee locations around the world. These refugee populations might explain the sudden appearance of sophisticated techniques in cultures that emerged after the climate stabilized. The rapid development of agriculture, complex architecture, and astronomical observation in multiple regions simultaneously suggests these weren't independent discoveries, but inherited wisdom from the destroyed civilization. What makes this theory particularly compelling is the distribution of megalithic sites worldwide. From Easter Island to the British Isles, from the Andes to the Mediterranean, ancient cultures built massive stone monuments using remarkably similar techniques. The precision cutting, transportation of enormous blocks, and astronomical alignments appear to follow standardized methods that originated from a common source. These shared technologies spread too rapidly and appeared too suddenly to represent natural cultural evolution. Number 4. The Yonaguni underwater builders. Beneath the waves off the coast of Japan lies a mystery that has divided the archaeological community for decades. The Yonaguni Monument, discovered by divers in 1986, presents a massive underwater complex of terraces, steps, pillars, and geometric structures that challenge our understanding of ancient Japanese civilization and global sea level history. The monument spans over 150 meters in length and rises nearly 30 meters from the ocean floor. Its most striking features include perfectly straight edges, flat surfaces, and precise right angles that seem to defy natural formation processes. Massive stone blocks appear to have been quarried and positioned with deliberate intent, creating platforms, corridors, and chambers that suggest architectural planning rather than geological accident. Marine geologists argue that the structure's features could result from natural fracturing and erosion of sedimentary rock. The layered sandstone and mudstone formations in the region can create geometric patterns when subjected to tectonic stress and water erosion over long periods. However, this explanation struggles to account for the monument's most puzzling characteristics: tool marks on stone surfaces, apparent staircases with uniform step heights, and circular holes that appear to have been deliberately carved. The age of the Yonaguni monument depends entirely on when it was last above sea level. If the structure was carved by human hands, it would have been accessible to ancient builders only during periods of significantly lower sea level. The most recent time this area was dry land was over 10,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age when global sea levels were 120 meters lower than today. This timeline creates profound implications for understanding ancient Japanese culture. Conventional archaeology places the earliest sophisticated Japanese civilizations in the Jomon period, beginning around 14,000 years ago, but reaching architectural complexity much later. If Yonaguni represents human construction, it would indicate that advanced stoneworking cultures existed in Japan thousands of years earlier than previously believed. The monument's potential builders would have possessed remarkable engineering capabilities. Moving and positioning the massive stone blocks required sophisticated understanding of leverage, transportation, and construction techniques. The precise geometric layouts suggest mathematical knowledge and planning abilities, typically associated with much later civilizations. Such capabilities emerging in prehistoric Japan would fundamentally alter our understanding of early Pacific cultures. Additional underwater structures discovered throughout the region compound the mystery. Similar geometric formations have been found at multiple sites around Japan's southern islands, suggesting Yonaguni wasn't an isolated anomaly, but part of a broader cultural landscape now hidden beneath the sea. These discoveries point to an extensive civilization that occupied the exposed continental shelf before rising waters submerged their achievements. Number 5. The Amazon megacity engineers. Hidden beneath the dense canopy of the Amazon rainforest lies evidence of one of the most sophisticated pre-Columbian civilizations ever discovered. Recent LiDAR technology has penetrated the jungle cover to reveal vast networks of ancient cities, roads, and agricultural systems that challenge everything historians believed about pre-contact South America. The scale of these discoveries defies imagination. Geometric earthworks stretch across thousands of square kilometers, connected by elevated roadways that maintained straight lines across varied terrain. Massive plaza complexes, some larger than modern city centers, were surrounded by residential areas that could have housed hundreds of thousands of people. These weren't primitive villages, but planned urban centers with sophisticated infrastructure and social organization. The agricultural systems supporting these cities demonstrate engineering capabilities that rival modern techniques. Complex networks of canals, raised fields, and water management systems turned swampland into productive farmland, capable of feeding enormous populations. These agricultural innovations were so effective that they actually enriched the soil, creating the fertile black earth deposits that still mark ancient settlement locations throughout the Amazon. What makes these discoveries particularly remarkable is their environmental integration. Rather than clearing the forest, the ancient engineers worked with the existing ecosystem to create a managed landscape that supported both human civilization and biodiversity. They practiced what modern ecologists call forest gardening, cultivating useful plants throughout the jungle while maintaining the forest canopy and wildlife populations. The civilization's road networks connected settlements across distances that would challenge modern transportation systems. Elevated highways crossed rivers, swamps, and hills, while maintaining gentle grades suitable for foot traffic and cargo transport. These roads required massive earth-moving projects and sophisticated surveying techniques to achieve their precise alignments and consistent construction standards. Archaeological evidence suggests this Amazon civilization possessed advanced metallurgy, textile production, and ceramic technologies. They created intricate goldwork, wove complex textiles from jungle fibers, and produced ceramics with artistic sophistication that rivals any ancient culture. Their craftsmanship indicates specialized knowledge and organized production systems that required stable, prosperous societies to develop and maintain. The sudden disappearance of this civilization remains one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. By the time European explorers penetrated the Amazon interior, only scattered indigenous groups remained, living in small villages with no memory of the massive cities that once dominated the region. Disease, climate change, or internal conflicts may have contributed to the collapse, but the speed and completeness of the civilization's vanishing suggests catastrophic rather than gradual decline. Number 6. The North American Mound Superculture. Across the North American continent, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, ancient builders created one of the world's most extensive archaeological landscapes. Thousands of earthen mounds, geometric enclosures, and planned cities demonstrate the existence of a sophisticated civilization that thrived for over 2 millennia before mysteriously declining around 1400 CE. The centerpiece of this civilization was Cahokia, located near present-day St. Louis, Missouri. At its peak around 1100 CE, Cahokia was larger than London and housed between 10,000 and 20,000 residents, making it the largest city in North America until the 18th century. The city's central plaza covered 50 acres and was surrounded by massive earthen pyramids that required millions of cubic feet of soil to construct. The precision of mound construction reveals sophisticated engineering knowledge that mainstream archaeology has consistently underestimated. Monk's Mound, the largest structure at Cahokia, rises 100 feet above the surrounding landscape, and contains over 22 million cubic feet of earth. The mound's construction required precise calculation of soil-bearing capacity, drainage systems, and structural stability. Its base covers 14 acres and demonstrates mathematical understanding of load distribution and architectural proportions. The astronomical alignments incorporated into mound sites across the continent indicate shared knowledge systems that transcended local tribal boundaries. Serpent Mound in Ohio aligns with lunar cycles and seasonal markers with precision that rivals Stonehenge. The Octagon Earthworks at Newark, Ohio, track complex lunar cycles across an 18.6-year period, demonstrating astronomical knowledge that required generations of careful observation and mathematical calculation. The trade networks connecting mound-building societies spanned the entire continent. Copper from the Great Lakes, shells from the Gulf Coast, obsidian from the Rocky Mountains, and mica from the Appalachians have been found in burial mounds thousands of miles from their sources. This continental trade system required organized transportation, standardized exchange systems, and diplomatic relationships between distant groups. Recent LiDAR surveys have revealed that the mound-building culture was far more extensive than previously recognized. Geometric earthworks previously hidden by forest cover are being discovered across the eastern United States, suggesting a unified cultural tradition that influenced development across vast regions. These discoveries indicate population densities and social complexity that approach those of contemporary Mesoamerican civilizations. The decline of the mound-building civilization presents another historical mystery. By the time European explorers arrived, most mound sites had been abandoned for centuries. Climate change, warfare, disease, or social upheaval may have contributed to the collapse, but the rapidity and completeness of the decline suggests systemic rather than gradual failure. The surviving indigenous populations had no detailed knowledge of the mound builders, treating the ancient sites as mysterious relics from a forgotten past. Number 7. The Indus Valley Urban Engineers. In the scorching valleys of Pakistan and northwestern India lies evidence of humanity's first experiment in perfect urban planning. The Indus Valley Civilization, spanning over 1,500 settlements across an area larger than Western Europe, achieved something that modern city planners still struggle to accomplish. They created cities without chaos, societies without apparent inequality, and technological systems that operated flawlessly for over 700 years before vanishing without explanation. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro represent the pinnacle of this lost civilization's achievements. These cities were constructed using standardized bricks manufactured to precise specifications that remained consistent across hundreds of miles. Every street followed a perfect grid pattern, with main thoroughfares running exactly 40 feet wide and smaller streets maintaining uniform dimensions. The level of standardization suggests central planning and quality control systems that wouldn't be seen again until the industrial age. The engineering achievements of these ancient cities surpass those of civilizations that emerged thousands of years later. Sophisticated drainage systems carried wastewater from every building through covered sewers that connected to main collection channels. Public wells provided fresh water access throughout residential districts, while private bathrooms and toilets in individual homes demonstrate sanitation standards that medieval European cities never achieved. What makes the Indus Valley civilization truly mysterious isn't just their technical prowess, but their apparent social structure. Archaeologists have discovered no palaces, no temples, no monuments to individual rulers, and no evidence of social stratification. The houses, while varying in size, show no extreme wealth disparities. Weapons are remarkably scarce, suggesting these cities functioned without military oppression or conquest. This represents a form of civilization completely different from every other ancient society. The Indus script remains one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Thousands of inscribed seals and tablets have been recovered, but the writing system defies all attempts at deciphersion. The symbols appear on trade goods, suggesting a commercial language, but their meaning died with the civilization that created them. This linguistic isolation indicates that the Indus Valley people developed their writing independently, without influence from Mesopotamian or Egyptian systems. Recent archaeological discoveries have revealed that the Indus Valley civilization was far more extensive than previously understood. New sites are being uncovered across India, revealing a trading network that reached from Afghanistan to Gujarat. The consistency of urban planning, measurement systems, and artistic styles across this vast region indicates a unified culture with shared standards and beliefs that maintained cohesion across thousands of square miles. The most puzzling aspect of this civilization is its sudden disappearance around 1900 BCE. Within a few generations, the great cities were abandoned, the writing system was forgotten, and the urban planning traditions vanished completely. Climate change, tectonic shifts, or invasion have all been proposed as explanations, but none adequately explain the complete cultural erasure that followed. The abandonment was so thorough that later inhabitants of the region had no memory of the sophisticated cities that preceded them. Excavations at the deepest levels of Indus Valley sites have revealed even older settlements with different architectural styles and pottery traditions. These earlier layers suggest that the familiar Indus civilization was built upon the ruins of an even more ancient culture, about which almost nothing is known. The implications are staggering. Successive civilizations may have risen and fallen in this region, each erasing the memory of its predecessors. Number 8. The underground cities of Cappadocia. Beneath the surreal landscape of central Turkey lies a hidden world that challenges our understanding of ancient engineering and social organization. The underground cities of Cappadocia, carved directly from solid volcanic rock, could shelter tens of thousands of people in multi-level complexes that extend hundreds of feet below ground. These subterranean marvels represent one of humanity's most ambitious construction projects, yet their builders remain completely anonymous. Derinkuyu, the largest of these underground cities, descends 18 levels into the earth and could house approximately 20,000 people, along with their livestock and food supplies. The complexity of its design rivals any ancient city built above ground. Residential areas, communal halls, kitchens, wine cellars, schools, and chapels were connected by a network of tunnels and ventilation shafts that maintained air circulation throughout the entire complex. The engineering required to create these cities demonstrates mastery of geology, architecture, and logistics that seems impossible for the time periods traditionally assigned to their construction. Massive stone doors, some weighing several tons, could seal off sections of the city from invaders. These doors were designed to be operated from the inside only, transforming the cities into impregnable fortresses that could withstand siege conditions indefinitely. The ventilation systems represent perhaps the most impressive achievement of the underground builders. Thousands of air shafts, some reaching depths of 280 feet, were precisely calculated to maintain airflow throughout every level of the cities. The shafts were designed with specific angles and dimensions that created natural air circulation patterns, ensuring that even the deepest chambers received fresh air while removing carbon dioxide and cooking smoke. What makes these underground cities truly mysterious is the complete absence of historical records about their construction. No ancient texts mention their building, no inscriptions identify their creators, and no cultural traditions preserve memory of their original purpose. The cities appear in historical records only when later civilizations discovered and repurposed them, treating them as mysterious relics from an unknown past. The strategic positioning of these underground complexes suggests they were built in response to specific threats that have been forgotten by history. The cities are located in regions that experienced frequent invasions throughout recorded history, but the scale and sophistication of the underground refugees implies dangers far greater than typical warfare. The builders invested enormous resources in creating permanent underground habitats rather than temporary shelters. Archaeological analysis reveals that the cities were used continuously for thousands of years by successive cultures, each adding their own modifications and expansions to the original designs. Early Christians, Byzantine settlers, and Islamic communities all made use of the underground spaces, but none claimed to be their original builders. This pattern suggests that the cities were ancient, even when first historically documented. The construction techniques used in the underground cities required knowledge and tools that don't align with the primitive technologies available to the cultures traditionally credited with their creation. Precise rock cutting, complex tunnel networks, and sophisticated water management systems indicate engineering capabilities that wouldn't be seen again in the region for many centuries. Recent ground-penetrating radar surveys have identified additional underground complexes throughout Cappadocia that remain unexplored. These discoveries suggest that the known cities represent only a fraction of a vast subterranean network that may connect sites across hundreds of square miles. The true scope of the underground civilization may be far greater than anything previously imagined. The original purpose of these cities remains hotly debated among researchers. While later inhabitants used them as refugees from invading armies, the original design features suggest they were intended for long-term habitation rather than temporary shelter. Some sections appear designed for specialized activities that have no clear parallel in later cultures, suggesting purposes that were forgotten along with their builders. Number 9. The lost Amazon geoglyph culture. Hidden beneath the Amazon rainforest canopy lies evidence of a sophisticated civilization that transformed one of the world's most challenging environments into a managed landscape of geometric precision. The recently discovered geoglyphs of western Brazil reveal massive earthworks that stretch across thousands of square miles, demonstrating engineering capabilities and mathematical knowledge that challenge our understanding of pre-Columbian South American cultures. These ancient earthworks consist of perfectly geometric shapes carved into the landscape with mathematical precision that rivals modern surveying techniques. Enormous circles, some over 1,000 feet in diameter, are connected by straight causeways that maintain consistent alignments across varied terrain. Square and rectangular enclosures, precisely oriented to cardinal directions, create complex patterns that are fully visible only from aerial perspectives that their creators couldn't have achieved. The construction of these geoglyphs required removal of millions of cubic meters of earth using only Stone Age tools and human labor. The geometric precision of the earthworks indicates sophisticated understanding of mathematics, engineering, and surveying that shouldn't have existed in pre-contact Amazonia. The builders achieved perfectly circular curves, straight lines extending for miles, and complex angular relationships that require advanced geometric knowledge to design and execute. What makes these discoveries particularly remarkable is their integration with the rainforest ecosystem. Rather than clearing the forest completely, the ancient engineers selectively managed tree growth to create their geometric patterns while maintaining forest cover. This indicates an understanding of ecological management that enabled them to modify the landscape without destroying the environment that supported their civilization. The scale of the geoglyph network suggests a unified culture that coordinated massive construction projects across regions that would challenge modern transportation and communication systems. The earthworks follow consistent design principles and mathematical ratios across sites separated by hundreds of miles, indicating shared knowledge systems and centralized planning that required sophisticated social organization. Archaeological excavation of geoglyph sites has revealed evidence of permanent settlements with complex pottery traditions, advanced agricultural systems, and specialized craft production. These weren't temporary ceremonial sites, but centers of sustained human activity that supported large populations for extended periods. The sophistication of material culture found at these sites rivals that of contemporary civilizations in other parts of the world. The agricultural systems associated with the geoglyph culture demonstrate environmental engineering that transformed the Amazon into a productive landscape capable of supporting dense populations. Raised field systems, canal networks, and soil management techniques created fertile agricultural zones that actually improved soil quality over time. These innovations enabled sustainable intensive agriculture in an environment typically considered unsuitable for large-scale farming. The astronomical alignments incorporated into many geoglyphs reveal detailed knowledge of celestial cycles and seasonal patterns. Some earthworks track solstices, equinoxes, and complex lunar cycles with precision that indicates centuries of careful observation and mathematical calculation. This astronomical knowledge was apparently integrated with agricultural planning and ceremonial activities in ways that coordinated human activities with natural cycles. The sudden disappearance of the geoglyph culture remains one of Amazonian archaeology's greatest mysteries. The earthworks were abandoned and gradually covered by regenerating forest growth, erasing visible evidence of their existence until modern deforestation and aerial surveys revealed them. The rapidity of abandonment suggests catastrophic rather than gradual decline, but the specific causes remain unknown. Recent LiDAR surveys continue to reveal new geoglyph sites throughout the Amazon basin, suggesting that the culture was even more extensive than currently understood. Some researchers estimate that hundreds of additional sites remain hidden beneath the forest canopy, representing a civilization that may have been one of the largest in the pre-Columbian Americas. Number 10. The Eye of the Sahara Civilization. In the heart of the Mauritanian desert lies one of Earth's most enigmatic geological formations, a massive circular structure so perfectly formed it can be seen from space. The reshape structure, known as the Eye of the Sahara, spans over 30 miles in diameter and consists of concentric rings that create a bullseye pattern in the landscape. While mainstream geology attributes this formation to natural erosion processes, mounting evidence suggests it may be the remnant of humanity's oldest lost civilization. The reshape structure's geometric precision defies conventional explanations of natural formation. 3 nearly perfect concentric circles are separated by valleys and ridges that maintain consistent spacing and proportions across the entire formation. The mathematical relationships between the rings follow patterns that ancient cultures incorporated into their sacred architecture, suggesting the structure may have served as a template for later circular city designs found across Africa and the Mediterranean. Ancient Greek philosopher Plato described the lost civilization of Atlantis as a series of concentric rings alternating between land and water, with specific measurements and proportions that match the reshape structure almost exactly. While most scholars dismiss Atlantis as philosophical allegory, the precise correspondence between Plato's description and this Saharan formation raises intriguing questions about the sources of his information. Archaeological evidence throughout the region supports the possibility of ancient human habitation around the reshape structure. Scattered stone tools, pottery fragments, and evidence of controlled fires have been discovered within and around the formation, suggesting sustained human activity during periods when the region received significantly more rainfall than today. The artifacts indicate sophisticated tool-making traditions and organized settlement patterns that predate known Saharan cultures by thousands of years. The geological composition of the reshape structure reveals layers of sedimentary rock that could only have formed in the presence of substantial water bodies. Ancient shoreline deposits, marine fossils, and erosion patterns indicate that the formation was once surrounded by lakes or even connected to ancient ocean systems. This aquatic environment would have supported the large populations necessary to create and maintain a major urban center. Satellite imagery analysis has identified what appear to be ancient roadways radiating outward from the reshape structure toward other archaeological sites across North and West Africa. These linear features maintain consistent widths and alignments across hundreds of miles of desert terrain, suggesting coordinated transportation networks that connected the circular formation to distant settlements and resource areas. The timing of the reshape region's transformation from fertile landscape to desert corresponds with the global climate changes that affected many other ancient civilizations. Around 5,000 years ago, the Sahara underwent rapid desertification that would have forced any inhabitants to abandon their settlements and migrate to more hospitable regions. This climate catastrophe could explain both the preservation of the geological formation and the absence of detailed historical records about its original inhabitants. Modern ground-penetrating radar surveys around the reshape structure continue to detect buried structures and artificial modifications that suggest extensive human engineering projects. These subsurface anomalies indicate that much of the evidence for ancient civilization in the region remains hidden beneath centuries of sand accumulation, waiting for future archaeological investigation to reveal the full scope of what may have been humanity's oldest organized society. These 10 erased civilizations represent more than lost chapters in human history. They're evidence that our ancestors achieved remarkable sophistication thousands of years earlier than conventional timelines suggest. From the geometric precision of Amazon geoglyphs to the astronomical knowledge preserved in stone monuments, these vanished cultures possessed capabilities that challenge our fundamental assumptions about prehistoric human development. Perhaps most intriguingly, their sudden disappearances often coincide with global catastrophes that reset human civilization, forcing survivors to rebuild from scattered fragments of once great knowledge. The pattern suggests that advanced human societies have risen and fallen multiple times throughout our species' journey.